in the beginning. It's time for a new chapter. 12 more reasons to die after the laughter. It's relevant, the legacy lives on lavish. Ghostface Killah, return of a savage. In the beginning, it's time for a new chapter.
What up, man?
How are you?
All good. You got the vinyl?
Better.
Cool.
Take a load off. Wait, what's that? What up, guys? This is Jimmy of the New Critics. This is our first video ever. We're going to be reviewing music, movies, games. For now, we're going to be reviewing the sequel to a critically acclaimed album in 2013, 12 Reasons to Die 2. Ghostface Killah and Adrian Younge. Double build, really. Ghostface Killah is a legendary hip-hop MC known for his work with the Wu-Tang Clan. You don't know these guys, you do not know real hip-hop. Go back to 1993. Seriously, guys. This guy, just awesome. Now, this album is a concept album, just like its predecessor, 12 Reasons to Die, based on a comic series of the same name which came out that year. For these albums, he teamed up with Adrian Younge. Adrian Younge is a multi-instrumentalist and soundtrack producer. His unique sound, spot on. For those of you who haven't checked out 12 Reasons to Die, which came out back in 2013, give it a shot. The story is what really makes it awesome. The story, the sound, the storytelling, all together, wow. And I could say that on the sequel too, but for some reason, this album just felt less memorable. But solid though, pure solid gold. The first album, for those of you who don't know the story, I'll just go into that briefly. Ghostface Killah plays this thug who's part of a major mafia clan set in the late 60s in Italy, the DeLucas. He separates himself from these guys after gaining a certain degree of respect after a murder case. Separates himself big time, forms his own clan, demolishes the DeLucas. There's only about 12 of them left after that. One of them is this chick, I think her name was Locum or something like that, really. A lot of people are confused with her name. Anyway, he falls in love with her, but people are saying, she's a setup chick, you know, all that kind of stuff. She sets him up, and then he's killed by this woman, really. And his remains are pressed into these 12 vinyl records, one for each member of the family. He's brought back from the dead upon playing them. He kills 11 of them, he lets Locum go. That brings 12 Reasons to Die to an end. 12 Reasons to Die 2 really continues the story. We've got this guy named Lester, whose family was murdered by the DeLucas, or what remains of them, and he seeks the help of Ghostface Killah when it comes to revenge. That's what these stories in these two albums are all about, mainly. Revenge, revenge, revenge. Just pure, solid revenge. And revenge is sweet, you know what they say. Now, the instrumentals on this thing, just like the last album, good stuff. And if you listen to them alone, they've got this soundtrack kind of vibe, which I like. Ghostface tells this story from beginning to end. Just great. The guest features on this thing, we've got Raekwon, we've got Vince Staples, Chino XL, etc. And they all fit in perfectly. Both albums, they are rather short, but I'm not really going to take that into account, you know, for something so conceptual. I mean, I like this album. I did. Really. Loved it. But it just felt less memorable than its predecessor. I'm going to keep saying that, because it's a fact. But it's still solid, and I like it. It's just got some of that sweet 70s sound in it. It's got one or two interludes which are cool. You know, when it comes to the flaws in this album, I just think two instrumentals in particular, Daily News and Death's Invitation, they just left me confused. I wondered what was going on. I'm not taking into account how long they were or what else, who else was on it. I mean, everything else was fine. And the opening track on it, powerful one, you know, that was a nice track, but needed more detail, seriously. Or it could have been longer, of course. The rest of the tracks, aside from Life's a Rebirth, which is like my most favorite, it's possibly the darkest track on this thing, and the concluding one, you know, the rest of the tracks, some of them just needed better arrangements. overall. But this is an enjoyable listen. It's dark, it's intriguing, it's gritty, you know. In fact, I would recommend this to any hip-hop fan, really. It's that enjoyable. So overall, I liked it. Not as much as the previous one. It just didn't feel like it. But the first one, I give that a 9 out of 10. I know I'm not supposed to be reviewing that, but this is, you know, this album we're doing, it's a sequel, so I have to take into account its predecessor. Overall, 12 Reasons to Die 2 is getting an 8 out of 10 from me. There. And that's it. Jimmy of the New Critics. Oh, and one more thing. If there's anything new you want us to review,